Hello, it is Thursday, May 1st, 2025. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Thursday crossword today, so we're going to be solving a possibly tricky puzzle with a possibly intricate or unusual theme. We can see some circled cells poking through the privacy veil here, so something interesting thematically is going on. And this hopefully thematically interesting edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Josh Allen, Mike from Vermont, and, as always, the indomitable Showmaster and the indefinable Charlie Paget. Thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They do, of course, sustain this series. They keep it going day in, day out, and for that, I'm very grateful. Thanks so much to them and to everybody who supports the Patreon campaign at any level. If you'd like to do so, you can head to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the description field link. You'll find bonus videos there. I'm sorry, I'm running a bit behind on catching up on the missing videos from when I was traveling, so I'm sorry, but I will get to that as soon as I can. And there's also, of course, the official mug for benefactors like those I've mentioned. Thank you so much to the supporters at every level of Patreon. And thanks if you subscribe on YouTube, which is a big help as well. And finally, there is a Daily Solve Discord chat server, a nice friendly chat community linked in the description field. All right, let's get on to today's crossword by Aidan Deschong and Adam Levav, who've constructed about half a dozen puzzles between them. It's a Thursday-themed puzzle, so something intriguing with these circled cells is going on, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. Let's start solving, shall we? Right, okay, so these are scattered all over the place. They don't seem symmetrically disposed or anything. A schoolroom that serves as a studio. Art class or art or a music room? I don't know. Not sure what this is. Schoolroom that serves as a studio. Art lab, maybe? Is that a phrase you could use? Soak up. Absorb? Yeah. Outcome of a hung jury. A retrial. Oh, good. This is working. How stylish. Too chic or too cute or too... give a lashing. To berate somebody. Okay. So, it's très chic. There we go. It's, very stylish in French. Okay. And then WC, the toilet, the lavatory. And not quite straight up is a tilt, maybe. Sweetener in some diet sodas. Right, stevia. Which I used to hear more about. They still use that? I'm sure they do. And gorgeous ones informally are buttes. So we're just contracting the word beauties down to buttes. Here's a clue we've filled in through crosses. Places to carry out some takeout orders for short. ORs. Takeout orders. What does that mean? Operating rooms. Why? Sorry, I'm not quite getting the pun. I'm grinded to a halt here. Takeout orders. What, you sort of you put someone out and you put them under? You anesthetize them, or... Sorry, I don't know what you take something out that's been lodged in their body or something? I don't know. Sorry. I'm sure this is actually very straightforward, so do let me know in the comments or the Discord. It's read, quote, as a stern warning. And there's an asterisk, so it's a theme clue of some sort. It's read as a stern warning. I wonder if stern is a kind of veiled nautical reference. Ricotta? Cheese? That's a word that could fit in here. What would that mean? If you remove the C and T, you'd have riota, which I don't think is a word, so... okay, we'll come back to it. Baha Men, presumably, group that won a Grammy Award in 2001 for Best Dance Recording with, I believe, Who Let the Dogs Out. I remember listening to an investigation of who actually wrote that song, because there was a kind of precursor to it that accused the Baha Men of ripping it off. And I think maybe even one more before that. But refuge from the heat, an oasis perhaps in a desert. It does look like ricotta, doesn't it? Daffy Duck's speaking feature. That cartoon character famously has a lisp. And to snoop is to pry into someone else's affairs. Oh, here's our revealer, it looks like. Brings up a prior topic. circles back, or a hint to making sense of the answers to this puzzle's starred clues. Right, do we reverse these? Circles back. I was thinking maybe we reverse the order of the T and the C, but that doesn't make something. I think this has got to be ricotta, doesn't it? Is it? It's red as a stern warning. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'm completely going blank on this. This is always what I fear solving puzzles on videos. There'll be something that should be basically figured out, and I just can't. I just do not understand it. Trailblazing astronaut Jemison Mae Jemison. That's an astronaut. So there we go. And then a light unit is a lumen. Film based on the 1983 children's novel The Sheep Pig. Is that? Oh, that must be Babe, because Babe is a sort of sheep pig in the sense of a sheep dog. Right. Okay, that's the George Miller film. And then original error of Doctor Who, BBC original error. Is it not still the error of Doctor Who? I guess. Oh, I guess because maybe in the US it doesn't air on BBC, presumably. Okay, so I think there is a BBC America. Maybe they don't show it. I don't know. Some comforters or that's just not considered the same channel. Some comforters for toddlers are blankies. Children's sort of cutesy version of blanket. I mean, we could fit blankets here, but I think because they mentioned toddlers, I think we're meant to put in blankies. And then whom Will Smith played in 2001 sports biopic, Muhammad Ali. And then modern prefix with normativity could be cisnormative. But let's double check the crosses to see. Cat breed named after an Indonesian island from which it didn't originate. Yeah, so cis will be correct there, presumably. This is a... Oh no, I thought I had it, but I didn't. Never mind. I had a completely useless thought. I guess it's one of these again. I was going to say Balinese, but that doesn't even confirm that. These circles again. How does this work? I do think this is an S. I mean, I'm pretty confident about that. Balinese. That's interesting. So we've taken the S from somewhere. It might not be Balinese, but it's an Indonesian island. I mean, it's got to be. It starts with B-A. Sorry about this. I'm really baffled by this. It's red as a stern warning. Oh, the Riot Act. When I stopped trying to figure out the rule and just started thinking of what could I spell with these letters, R-I-O-T-A and then C-T-I-C, the circles are moved back from their original position in the word. Right, okay. So base line, Balinese, yes, that's it. That is it. Yeah, B-A, and then the S-E from Balinese are moved from the end of the word to these positions. Okay, finally have that figured out. So, yeah, so baseline becomes Balinese, which is the cat breed. Ricotta becomes Riot Act, which is the stern warning that you give to someone. So stern is not, in fact, referring to kind of a part of a ship. Okay, anyway, sorry about all that. We can now continue. West Elm is a furniture retailer, and Dairyless Diet is... Dairyless Diet. No lack or something? I don't know. Singer Grande, Ariana Grande. Oops, wait. Yeah, that's right. Turn into stars, say, question mark. I'm not sure. Could be referring to astronomy in some fashion. Swana for fly, tsetse, which we sort of redundantly call the tsetse fly sometimes. A covenant would be a pact, a sort of agreement you make with someone. And a son of Zeus and Hera is Ares, the god of war. Dairyless diet. Oh, paleo. I see. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's dairyless. Um, and then not in the least, you might say, not at all. Turn into stars, say, what is this? Censor? Oh yeah, no, it is censor. Because if you censor I don't know, profane language or something, you might replace it with asterisks. Okay, and here we have relative of a snowboard is a monoski. There we go. Yes, a single ski is smaller than a snowboard, but we've moved the ki from the end to the beginning, and we're left with the valid word kimonos. There we go. All right, it's 1 foot long. This looks odd. I blank blank B. What's that? Don't know. Old tone. Sepia tone. Old photographs, and that sort of what now reads to us as kind of old-timey yellowish brown. Calls for sympathy are pleas. And I wanna let me or lemmy. Oh, it's 1 foot long as an iamb. Right. It's a unit of poetic meter. So an iamb is it's a poetic metrical foot, a sort of stress unit that consists, in this case, a pair of stressed syllables that consists of an unstressed followed by a stressed syllable. And Shakespeare, of course, famously wrote iambically, specifically in iambic pentameter, so 5 of those. I wanna let me. Big thing in fast food. Big Mac from McDonald's. There we go. Splendor is éclat, maybe? Sort of panache. Let's see if that's right. Sheet music symbol. Yeah, clef in sheet music will show you what the range of notes is for that particular staff. And then memento is a keepsake. Okay, so that looks right. More delicate and weak, frailer. Seems correct there. So lead into nautics is aero, like aeronautics. And popping pills says on a drug, on drugs. Neither of those fits, obviously. Comedy club fair. Something act, I bet this will be. So the AC, oh no, actually it won't be. Because if this were act, the last, oh no. No, yeah, the last letter would have to be a T, so that would be where the P is now. So that's not correct. Comedy club fair. I'm not sure yet, sorry. Video game character speaking a gibberish language. So the little people in the game The Sims speak I think it's called Simlish, the sort of a nonsense language they speak, so that they don't need to record dialogue for every single thing they could say. Like does, like does. Are they does deer? Not sure what that's looking for. Popping pills on meds. That's what it is, on medication. Right. So like, I think this is going to be does, but it could be does. What about this? Like government secrets occasionally. They're sometimes leaked. Crackpot, a real crackpot. Is that what? Revered sorts. Idols, I don't know what it is. Quiet. And source of Andrew Carnegie's wealth. I don't remember, weirdly. Andrew Carnegie, what was he was, one of those big, I guess probably sort of Gilded Age tycoons, but what was his steel, maybe? That sounds plausible. Like does. Female. Yes, I mean, famously, a doe, a female deer. I was trying to think of something with like ungulates or something, but no. Okay, crackpot. Oh, crackpot idea would be a mad idea. There we go. And then revered or revered sorts are elders. You might revere them for their experience and knowledge. Okay, so quiet is, I'm not sure. And uplifting work. It might mean work that literally involves lifting things up, but it could also be uplifting in an emotional sense. I'm not sure. This looks like Syria. Yes, country that was home to the Ebla Library, thought to be the world's first, 2500 BC. That's pretty interesting. Syria. Language that gave us Saskatchewan. It must be Cree, which is a indigenous people of North America. And obviously a Canadian place name. And then piercings that might be felt while kissing could be lip studs, maybe? Could be another specific kind of hardware, but studs would fit. Let's try it and see. Epsom salt, form of magnesium sulfate, which I think comes from Epsom here in the UK and England. To quiet a sound would be to muffle it. And then, well, I don't know if it exclusively comes from there, but I think it famously does. Uplifting work. Oh, an ode, right. It is the emotional bit. It's the work that was the misdirection. So it's a work as in a work of art. And an ode, of course, is the official poetic form of the New York Times crossword. So comedy club fare is dustpan, but it's actually stand-up. That's what it is. Okay, so we have S-T-A-N and then the circled letters at the end, D-U-P. Great. Okay, lip stud was actually wrong. Because this is the song, I think, made famous by Tony Bennett, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. So then what's this then? What are the piercings that might be felt while kissing? Rings. There we go. That's what it is. Okay. And then community associated with Out magazine would be the LGBT community. Does that work with this? One-time CIA foe? Yes, the Soviet KGB intelligence agency. And then Times Square ball drop setting in brief is Eastern Standard Time, I guess. The time in New York when the New York ticks over. President posthumously inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame informally. I guess I did not know this, but I guess it's Dwight D. Eisenhower. Okay, a villain's expression. Some kind of grin, yes, because we have a G here, and then an R here, and an I-N. So an evil grin, which would make reviling, is sort of thematically appropriate. So I think that might be right, but let's check the crosses. Blank pal. Gal pal, maybe? And racket raising is noisy. Title friend of Marlin in an animated film. Oh, maybe it's not noisy. This is Finding Nemo, I bet. Oh, no, maybe not. No, maybe it's Dory, because there was a sequel. I was thinking title character, so it'd have to be Finding Nemo, because Marlin being capitalized is an actual character name as opposed to just the fish generically. But there was a sequel, Finding Dory, as well, so she's also a titular character. So I think that's probably right. Who says you're a wizard, Harry? I don't know. I know that this is obviously Harry Potter. This is obviously referring to Harry Potter, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually read or seen any of those. Skincare brand is Aveeno, I think. I always forget if this is Aveeno or Avedo. I think it's Aveeno. But let's look at this and see if that helps. Blank Mendoza, former First Lady of Puerto Rico, Inez. That seems likely and works with Aveeno. Let's see. City that lends its name to a style of omelet. Denver omelet. I don't actually know what it has in it, but I've definitely heard of Denver omelets. Past tense verb that's potentially confusing but grammatically correct when written twice in a row. Had. Yeah, I mean, that's in the sense that you could say, well, I had breakfast before I went out. And I suppose that can be confusing. I mean, I can imagine to an English as a second language learner, that would be very confusing. Carve out in a way. I think you can chain more of them together too. Carve out in a way. Engrave? Yes, and that makes the word Avenger, which is obviously a valid word. Okay, so we have E-N-G-R, and then the circled letters A-V-E. Excellent. Okay, so Columbus's birthplace is Genoa in Italy, and Hagrid, I have heard of that character. Although I didn't know that he informed Harry of this fact. So let's see. Yes. All right, there we go. That was our Thursday crossword. Circles back. And boy, did it take me a while to understand how to parse it. Ricotta, yeah. And I didn't, some of these, like with Bolognese, I think Bolognese was useful because I was so confident that's what the answer would need to be that it really forced me to figure out what was going on. So that was helpful. Whereas with with ricotta slash riot act, I didn't have, I wasn't, I just didn't know what the answer was going to be. So it was more difficult to reverse engineer. And then after those two, it got a little bit easier. So monos, so yeah, we'll just look at them. So the cat breed named after an Indonesian island from which it didn't originate is Balinese, which is in the grid as baseline. It's read as a stern warning. The riot act, you might read someone the riot act, which has its origins in English common law. Well, I guess just English law, English legislation, and then it becomes ricotta before circling back. And then to carve out in a way is to engrave something, which is in the grid as avenger. Oh, I forgot this, didn't I? The relative of a snowboard is a monoski, which becomes kimono. The comedy club fare is a stand-up, which becomes dustpan. And finally, the villain's expression is an evil grin, which becomes reviling. That's a really nice one because reviling, sounds like a word that might also be used in the context of a villain. So that's a good bit of synchronicity there. And that was the Thursday crossword. So there we go. Not too tricky as far as the straight crossword bit goes, but I absolutely did struggle to understand the theme. Let me know how quickly you caught onto that one and which clue tipped you off. And that's the Thursday puzzle. I'll be back tomorrow with the Friday edition of the Daily Solve, so do join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.